For so many of us white folks, it's really hard to embrace the reality that racism is an essential part of white identity. One of the ways it's become the most clear to me is thinking back on how I thought as a kid. See, when I was a teenager, my best friend was black. Actually, he's still my best friend. And at the same time, my older brother's best friend from college was black. And do you know what we did? We made jokes about them being black. Not just occasionally, all the time. And guess what? My best friend did not enjoy that. But he laughed, so we all kept doing it. And despite all the abuse he took, he and I are still friends to this day, which I am very grateful for so many reasons. And in recent years, he's helped me to understand what was going on for him at the time, which has also given me the opportunity to think about what was going on with me. And I've realized that if someone were to say to me, when I was 17 years old, this good, compliant Christian kid, that I held racist beliefs, I would have said that was impossible. Because you guessed it, my best friend was black.
This is a white person admitting this publicly, and he knows it. Some of us black people knows that. It's hard for a white person to not be racist, but it's always something that grinds my teeth when I see black person that will come out, oh, I didn't know my white friend of 20 years has been racist all along. I didn't know this. Did you not know it, or you just overlook it? Did you not know it, or you just play along with it because it was okay for you to be accepted into a white space? For a white person to not be racist is someone that has to do the work, because racism is embedded in their culture. It is embedded in their household. It is acceptable. So for a black person to always be like, oh, I didn't know that my white friend of 20 years was racist. I didn't know that my boyfriend has been racist all along. I didn't know that my white partner has been racist. It's like, are you naive or what?
I don't know if this is just like a personal experience, but every single white friend that I've ever had has shown themselves to be a racist or a bigot every single time. And I just don't know what to say anymore. Maybe it's just where I come from. I am in upstate New York, but it's like, oh my gosh, like, I grew up, I went to a PWI. All of my friends growing up were white at one point. You know what I mean? Up until high school. And I'm saying every single one of them, I feel like once they get comfortable, they start with the racism. They start with the transphobia, just straight up bigotry. And I end up looking at them funny, you know? But then they'll be like, oh, but not you. I'm really making this video because I just literally just now seen someone who I love so dearly, even though we're not even close anymore. But she posted about the LA protests and was very much against it. And I'm just like, you never speak on anything political ever. You like nothing, but you want to speak on that has so much meaning behind it. Do you think these people are protesting because they want to be doing that with their day? Like, I'm just so tired. And honestly, I be feeling crazy too, because when I speak to like other people about it, it's like they don't take it as serious, and it makes me feel like I'm just being dramatic. But like, I know what I'm hearing and I know how it makes me feel. Like,
have you ever been a person of color and find out that someone you really care about who's white is mad racist? I think we need a special word in our vocabulary for that unique heartbreak. The heartbreak of being in a trusting, compassionate, caring, deep relationship when you really think you know somebody and then you find out they actually don't even like black people. When I was in fellowship, I'm a clinical psychologist. My name's Dr. Dana E. Crawford. And when I was in fellowship, I had this coworker who was mad cool. She was amazing, a great friend, a speech pathologist. We saw a lot of kids who were autistic and other patients together. And some of those cases were hard and heartbreaking. And we went through it. We went through the trenches of like passionate, committed, meaningful work together, and we ended up building a friendship. We went to happy hour. We shared about our lives together. She shared about her kid. We shared pictures of our families. She was my friend. I thought she was an amazingly kind, loving person, and in some ways she was. And so when I went to get married, I invited her to my wedding, and we danced, we laughed, we smiled, and I later opened up my wedding present from her, and it was a gollywog. There's a picture of it. And I remember when I opened this up, I looked at the name. I was like, I know she could not have given me these dolls that are so racist and, you know, just make fun of the features of Black people. And I know that Gollywog dolls have a lot of history, but when I looked at those, I was just like, is this what she sees? And who gives somebody that for a wedding present? So then when I went back to work, she came by my office and she was like, did you get the present? And I was like, yeah, I did. And my face looked like this. I was like, what was that? And she's like, oh, I know how you care about multiculturalism. So when I saw these dolls, I was like, I absolutely have to give them to Dana. She didn't talk like that because she wasn't given like a Black son or anything like that. But she was like, I absolutely had to give them to you because I was like, oh, this is perfect for her. And I realized how she never actually saw me as a person, and I saw her as a person. I didn't view her as some white lady that didn't understand culture. I just viewed her as like my colleague who was in the trenches of intense clinical work together, and all she saw in me was like this Black woman, not like my heart. And it was so devastating. And after that, I just didn't rock with her. Like, we weren't cool. Of course, I kept it professional because your girl is a professional. But I didn't rock with her anymore. I kept it mad professional. We were not talking about any personal issues. And I was not interested in hearing anything personal she had to share. But it was a grief.
Someone left these comments on that video. What is wild is you are surprised. Is in their blood the way greatness is in ours. And the creator responded, sometimes the hurt is trauma. Racism is trauma. Do not allow racism that you have experienced or done make you hard. She went up, you can pause and read the kumbaya that she is saying. So, like this one, for someone that is, she says she's a psychologist, so she's well educated. But she is this, is it denial or naive or ignorance? I don't know. Please go down in the comment section and tell me what you think is really going on with this lady.
You cannot have a white spouse and be pro-Black. And I'm coming to you from experience, okay? I didn't know that I had self-hatred for myself, that's crazy, until George Floyd died. George Floyd died, and my white husband did not feel the way I felt. He wasn't angry. He thought it was sad, but he really didn't understand the gravity of seeing it, of one, it happening, and two, the way we saw it. Okay, and it shook me, and at first I was wondering if it was me, if I was being too sensitive, and then the wheels started turning. Like, no, something else going on here. So I got into therapy, and I'm talking a week later. Okay, and it took me some time. I had to go through some therapists. I went through 3. My 4th one, name was Simon, Black man, and he had 2 sessions with me, and he was like, I know what's going on. Okay, I think I know what's going on. Let me ask you a couple questions. Okay, and I answered all his questions, and then we both came to the conclusion that I have been trying to assimilate for so fucking long. Okay, and I just been in this white bubble for so fucking long, and I've been trying to just pretend like being Black is not being Black is not just a race. I can't even describe it. There's so much tied to being a Black person. When you learn your history, when you learn about all the shit that your ancestors went through, other people's ancestors went through, just going and living day to day as a person. Okay, not a single Black person has woken up, okay, and just had a normal fucking day. White people, they can wake up and have normal fucking days. And they've always been able to wake up and have normal fucking days. You know, they don't have to worry about someone telling them that they aren't good enough to go into a store or can't go into that store because of just how they look. They don't understand shit like that, right? And that is what I understood. That was the fundamental difference between me and my husband was he doesn't, and I love him. I love him still, but he don't know anything about oppression or nothing. And he was a white man. So, and this world is curated for him to be successful, for him to be happy. And it's the exact opposite for me. So when all this is clicking in therapy, okay, and we got a divorce mainly because I still loved him and respected him, but I was not at all. I looked at him and I thought, I saw my self-hatred. I was looking at you like, why aren't you black? Why aren't my children black? And then it was just, and I could never get over it. I could never get over it. Because I was like, listen, and then at the same time I'm in therapy, I'm reading all these books. I'm reading all this. This is when I found Nikki Giovanni in 2020. And I was obsessed. Her, James Baldwin, I'm in there, you know? And the more I learned about just even some parts of my family, it just felt like betrayal to myself to stay married to him. And it was hard. It was very hard. Very hard. At one point, I thought I was making a mistake. But it turns out it was not a mistake. Because you can't be pro-black and literally, like, marriage is serious. But you're married to the enemy, literally. You're married to an op. Or you're, at bare minimum, you are married to someone who can never, ever understand you.
I think my friend is in love with a racist. She's black, in brackets very light-skinned, in her mid-30s. She's been with this white man for around 12 years and they live together. He never seemed interested in black issues. In fact, every time we brought up topics that affected us, he became argumentative and borderline gaslighty. He often plays devil's advocate and tries to see both sides of the conversation. My friend is passionate about black culture and racial justice, yet he remains detached, uninterested, and I'd even say dismissive. At this point, I don't think it's that he doesn't get it. I think he doesn't want to get it. There was an incident recently that really shook me. She was at a crowded festival. She accidentally pushes a very drunk white man and he drops his drink on the floor. He then proceeds to call her the N-word. She stood up for herself and her so-called man pulled her away from the scene, told her to calm down, and the person was just crazy and should be ignored. She said, I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to get him thrown out by security, and he told her she was overreacting. She said, I think you're underreacting, and cussed him out and called him a little bitch boy for not defending her. He got more upset about the fact that she was racially... He got more upset about that than the fact that she was racially abused. They had a big argument and he told her how she's embarrassing and why she always lets people get to her. That would have been my cue to leave if I'm honest. But no, she's still with him. Her defense? That he just needs time to learn. That she loves him and one day he'll get it. She recommended he read some books and he said he would apparently, but I don't think he will. In fact, I think he doesn't even like her. I've never once heard him compliment her. It almost feels like he's jealous of her light. And the saddest part is she wants marriage and a baby. He said outright that he's not the marrying type and keeps dangling the idea of kids without any real intention. He is 1 minute for babies and the next minute he's not. I truly fear that he's wasting her time. I want to say something though. I've said things before, all of us have, but she always jumps to his defense.
This comment said, I grew up in a small town in Florida. I went to PWIs and was almost always the only POC. Yes, since I'm biracial, mother is black but light on melanin, so white people felt comfortable with me or something. Because let me tell you the shit they said when they think that black person is not around. That is why I'm always skeptical whenever I see black people that will come out to say, oh, I didn't know that my white husband, my white friend, my white colleague, my white this, we are that, we are racist, we are bigotry. I'm always skeptical of that statement because you didn't know or you ignore. You didn't know, or you wanted to be accepted by the white. You didn't know, or you wanted to be assimilated into the white culture. Because that's how I see it. White people know is, a lot of black people knows that these people cannot, except they actively work on it to not be racist. It's embedded in them. So for a black person to always come out and say, oh, I didn't know this about my white colleague, is like, I give you a lot of side eyeing, because at best, you are naive. At worst, it was okay for you when it was going well with your friendship or whatever. Now that the friendship or the relationship is sour, you now come out and claiming that you didn't know. Make that make sense. And that is also, I find it very problematic to see people that said, I am pro-black, but you surround yourself with a lot of white people, white boyfriend, husband, fiancé, friends are white, but you say you are pro-black, you are about black suffering and all of that. Like how can you be pro-black, but your immediate people, like people that are closest to you, are not your skin tone? How does that work in your brain? How do you rationalize that? It's always very fascinating for me. I am not saying that you don't have to have a white friend, you don't have to have a white husband, you don't have to have a white anything. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that those two sentences doesn't go hand in hand. That's just my opinion. Go down in the comments and share your thoughts and opinion. What are your thoughts? Do you really think these people didn't know that their white boyfriend, friends, husband, wife were racist, or it was okay when it was good? Go down and share your thoughts and opinion in the comments. Like this video, share it with anyone you want to have this conversation with. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.